Anyway, Ferrall back at Hurley's. Happy New Year to everybody. We are still employed. So it looks like we'll continue doing Pain Day. Do you think we'll be able to call it Pain Day when there's no more football? Just keep it Pain Day.
Yeah, we'll just hurt people.
Just hurt people. I like that.
We can talk hockey.
I don't even remember your nickname.
Rassizzle Sani.
Rassizzle Sani, Hassan Salam, the ball carrier, Ron Hassan, Rogers, Sani. All right, so that's it. Mafia is Brian Ciano. Mysterio is Lou Cold. Chilled Sizzle with gas. Pellegrino water with gas. Wow. That's what the bubbles. And this is, what's your name again? Mafia style. You got some real Italian name.
Rocco Graceffo.
That's right.
The Mad Hatter.
That's correct.
I'm Ferrall, and I got my Gretzky on. Silent. Anyway, we're here to talk about the wild card games this weekend and essentially every team in the NFL playoffs. How's that sound? So let's start it off. On Saturday, you got two games. Here they are. Jets at the Colts. That's the night game. And then in the afternoon, you got the Saints at Seattle. Seattle is 10-point dogs at home, and I think it has something to do with the fact that they were 7-9. And I think that they blow. And they got by the Rams to get in the playoffs, but I don't think it matters. The Saints have to go to Seattle and kick their ass.
Oh, that's exactly what's going to happen. The Seattle looked terrible when they played the Rams. The Rams played like shit, so they have no chance against the Saints at all.
Anything at all that you can give me on Seattle against New Orleans?
Yeah, I mean, New Orleans has never won a road playoff game, so they have that going against them. But when you're playing a team that was the first division champion...
Wait a minute, what'd you say?
New Orleans is 0-3 all time on the road in the playoffs.
Oh, that ends.
But they're going against the first team to ever have a losing record and be a division champion. 12th man, my ass. It's not going to matter. Drew Brees is rested. They're going to roll him. Forget that last game against Tampa. He wasn't playing. It doesn't count.
I hear what Mafia is saying, but I don't buy it because if you think about it, the Super Bowl was a road game. They did not play it at their home building. It's still a road
That's
game.
a neutral site game.
It's a neutral site game.
Now the team is home.
But still,
They're not afraid of Seattle.
They're not afraid of Seattle, and I agree with Mafia. The 12th man, the volume, it doesn't mean anything. Drew Brees is going to march them all over the field.
Is the 10 points too much?
I think it's too little.
Yeah,
I
they're going to blow them out.
Little.
They're going to blow
Charlie White
out.
Right.
Starting quarterback.
Yeah. What do you think?
There's a chance Hasselbeck starts. Let's not forget.
And then is out by the second quarter with back injury?
All right, then 12
I
points.
wouldn't count him out, especially if you got the 12th man in the building. I wouldn't count him out to win by more than 10, but the Saints are going to roll.
All right, so that means, do they cover or not?
I think Seattle stays in the game until the fourth quarter.
So you think Seattle covers?
Yes.
All right, there you go. We got one guy that says Seattle's going to cover. All right, the Jets and Colts. I say the Jets go to Indianapolis and beat a team that has struggled all year long to prove that they still matter. Peyton Manning is, I think he had his worst season. And they had a lot of injuries, fair enough. But flat out, the Jets are better than the Colts. I think the Jets win in Indy. What do you think?
I'm going to go on a limb and say the Jets are the best team in the league. I'm not even a Jets fan, but I think they're going to go to Indy and easily beat those guys. It's not going to be a blowout, but they're going to win.
And what did you say the spread was in that game?
The 3, 2.5 or 3, depending on where you're getting in the Colts' favor.
Because I have it right here. Let's see. The 10 is New Orleans. The Jets are favored. The Jets are getting 2.5.
Yep.
They're getting 3 in some houses. You got to jump on that. You just got to do it. Now, I don't even have to ask you who you think is going to win.
I'm going to go with the Jets just because they're my team, but I'm a little concerned because Sanchez's arm is sore. They didn't even let him throw in that last game. But you saw Edwards break off a long touchdown with Mark Brunell. You saw Santonio Holmes make a great catch. Granted, it was Buffalo, but even Joe McKnight, who they haven't even played all year, got into the mix of things.
You went to the game.
I did go to that game. I mean, it was basically a preseason game in the last week of the season, but there are some things that need to work out. The defense isn't as good.
Did you like the stadium?
I love the stadium. It's nice.
Did you get drunk?
No, I didn't. Too expensive.
Jets go to Indy. Are you going to go out on a limb with your dad, G Money's Colt? Does he think they're going to beat the Jets?
You know what? I haven't even had a chance to talk to him yet. I usually let him
call
soak
him.
it in. We will. We'll definitely get him on the show tonight, and we'll have him give his thoughts about what's facing the Colts. But You know, every Jet fan that I've spoken to, this one, my best friend, they're all nervous about going into Indy and playing the Colts. And these guys seem to forget this Jets team was 7 to 9 minutes away from beating them last year in the AFC title game. The Colts are not the same team that went to the Super Bowl last year. And I think with a nice dose of LaDainian Tomlinson running, Sean Green running, anytime you have the Wildcat threat with Brad Smith, and Mark Sanchez, who, as Mafia said, isn't completely 100% healthy, but I just don't see the Colts offense being able to put points on the Jets defense, and I see the Jets offense able to move the ball against a very
Run the ball. They need to run the ball.
And even throw the ball, because when you got Keller, when you got Holmes, and when you got Edwards, you guess where I'm going to throw it. Someone's going to be open.
You got to worry about Freeney and Mathis, though, if you throw too much. You need that running game to neutralize
I think
that.
they need to simplify the game for Sanchez and run a lot and pass when you have to.
Yep. Right. Typical road playoff football.
Ground and pound.
I just think they're going to win the game. What do you think?
I think Joe McKnight's going to play a good role in this game. He's got fresh legs. Let's not forget it was Sean Green who had the fresh legs last year and stepped in for Thomas Jones. Considering that the Jets don't rush the passer very well with their 4-man, 3-man rush, and everything comes down to the third down blitz, which people keep picking up all year, and that they can't cover receivers in the middle of the field. That's a dose of Jacob Tamme, that's a dose of Blair White, and you can forget about Garcon, you can forget about Reggie Wayne on the outside, but I still think Manny's going to find Tamme, he's going to find Blair White, he's going to do what he does. He's going to throw, he's going to be accurate, he's going to throw all over the field, and I think the Colts are going to do it.
Wow, he's taking the Colts too. And the Seattle cover, going out on a limb. So if the Jets win, they go to New England.
Yep.
And then let's look at the other side of things. The Steelers are they're the number 2 seed.
Right.
They get to play at home against the winner of the Ravens-Chiefs game, correct? And let's, while we're at it, talk about those games. The Ravens, all right, first of all, the Ravens-Chiefs game is this Sunday. So I think the Chiefs are going to beat the Ravens in Arrowhead Stadium. And I got to look at the number just to see so I don't screw this up. Kansas City's getting 3 at home. I'll take it. I think the Ravens are a better team, but I think actually when you talk about 12th man, Arrowhead Stadium, 85,000 people, it's going to be crazy there and cold. I'll take the Chiefs.
I mean, the Chiefs that I saw against the Raiders' pass rush is mediocre at best, and they were giving Matt Castle a lot of trouble back there. The Ravens are their defense is 3 times what the Raiders are, and I just don't see how they're going to be able to stop the Ravens' defense.
Who do you like?
You know, on paper, the Ravens are screaming at me to take them, but for whatever reason, I like the speed and the athleticism of the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm going to take the Chiefs.
Their running game, then Bo, their receiver.
I'm going to take the Chiefs. I think in the end, the Ravens win the game, but I would not be surprised if the Chiefs pull the upset.
So you think it'll end up being, it would be the Ravens against the Steelers then?
That's what I think,
If the Ravens win, who do you like?
I think the matchup plays right into Baltimore's hands. The Chiefs like to run the ball with Charles and Jones, and the Ravens can stuff the run.
Don't forget, Charlie Weiss is on his way out as offensive coordinator
That's
going
been
to
a major
Florida.
distraction.
I'm
not going to tell you it's not been a distraction. It's been a distraction.
I don't buy that. No one cares about the fat offensive coordinator sitting up in a press box. These are pro football players.
Right.
They don't care who the coordinator is.
I don't buy distraction.
You think the Houston Texans thought that they cared about Frank Bush getting fired today? They never listened to him anyway.
College kids are a little bit more sentimental and a little bit more emotional. When you're dealing with multi-million-dollar athletes, they don't care if it's Scott Ferrall, Mafia, Rasan, me, or the camera crew.
They just want their cut check on time.
That's right. All right, so Green Bay and Philly. Philly's laying 2.5 at home, and I think a lot of people think that the Packers are better than the Eagles, and I'm not one of them. I'll take Philly. Philly at home.
I'll take Philly too. I think Michael Vick, he's really got something to prove, and this is his chance to show everyone that he deserves to be in the position he's in. So I'm going with Philly.
Philly's a good team, but I don't think Green Bay's better than them. I think they're relatively equal teams. But I think Green Bay has played better of late. Despite all their injuries, Aaron Rodgers has led them in there. Chicago played all their players because they didn't want Green Bay in the playoffs. They're scared of them. They're going to be the toughest 60 to knock out that you've had maybe in all the NFL playoffs ever.
So who do you like in this game in Philly at the Link? I know Green Bay's got a great defense, but
The Eagles are always tough. they usually win their first-round playoff games. They're almost like Georgetown in the NCAA tournament. Georgetown gets into the field of 64. They're usually guaranteed to advance. The Eagles are usually the same way. I'm going with Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers only because I like the way they've played down the stretch. They've already played a playoff-style game by beating the Bears in the last week of the season. I just think that Aaron Rodgers is going to put it all together. The Packers have a history of going into Philly and playing pretty well. So I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers only because I like the way their defense stacks up against the Eagles' offense, and I just love Aaron Rodgers. Just love the way he's playing.
Nobody's talking about the fact that maybe Vic's getting tired. I mean, this is a guy who hasn't played a full season since 2007. No one's really brought that up. The fact that he just might be getting tired, he might be out of gas.
The dark horse in this game for the Eagles to win is Shady McCoy. If McCoy comes out and has 125, 135, 140 yards and a touchdown or two, then I think the Eagles could roll.
All right, let's talk about the top seeds. Pats, Steelers go 1-2. Falcons, Bears go 1-2. In the AFC, who do you think's left standing when it's all said and done?
I'm putting the I'm putting the Patriots all the way in the Super Bowl. I like them. They just got a high-powered offense. Tom Brady's had an amazing year. I just don't see anybody stopping them.
They're a tough team, but I still think that defense is young, and you never know what your youth is going to do in the playoffs. I think they might get knocked out in the second round of the AFC Championship game. They're just too young in certain positions that they really need.
So you think that the Patriots are going to lose next week?
Possibly next week, at least in the AFC Championship game. They're definitely not going to the Super Bowl, in my opinion.
They had a lot of games where they gave up nothing.
They blew
45-3.
The last 4 weeks, they blew everybody out, but that can be dangerous. Sometimes you get too complacent. Woodhead has a head injury. That'll hurt their running game. I think it'll be different.
Lou, Pat Steelers, how do you think they do?
You know what? I like both teams. I especially like the way they both stack up against each other. You get a high-flying offense led by Tom Brady, and then you got a solid defense led by Troy Polamalu. You saw that play the other day where he almost jumped over the whole offensive and defensive lines to try to get at Colt McCoy of the Browns. That was one of the most amazing plays I've ever seen. I like the Steelers. To me, playoff winner football, defense always wins. And if Big Ben starts hooking up with Wallace the way he has been, throwing the ball downfield, and shows that he can go vertical and go underneath the Miller and have the running game working as well. The Steelers, if all those cylinders are firing at once, I think the Steelers go to the Super Bowl possibly.
Wow.
I think the rest of the teams have watched the Patriots blow these teams out. And I think the Patriots, like Brian said, are getting a little too complacent. I think somebody's going to look to shut them up one of these games, and there won't be any 37-3 scores. There won't be any 45-3 scores. This is playoff football. These teams are going to come to play.
You guys are crazy if you think the Patriots are going to make it all the way to the playoffs and get complacent. Are you kidding me?
Paul Miles will keep the Steelers, though.
I think the way they played, they've angered people.
So is Rex Ryan after last week's game when he basically comes out and said,
But that's what Rex does.
I think we were the best team last year. I think we're the best team again this year. Rex, just shut up and get to the Super Bowl.
You can't say
just
that
shut up,
that
get there and win, and then talk.
Yeah, I agree with that. He just never
That's
stops.
what he does.
He just never shuts his mouth.
Just shut up.
He just predicts too much. He should shut up.
The key to those top teams is Polamalu. With him, that defense is tough, one of the best in the league. Without him, they're mediocre at best. You got to hope he doesn't get injured. Otherwise, Pittsburgh's going to go out early.
I think that's a problem. All right, Falcons and Steelers. We thought that the Falcons never lost at home until the Saints kicked their ass. You think the Falcons can go to the Super Bowl?
I don't know if I can put them all the way in the Super Bowl. I thought it was impressive that Drew Brees threw 2 picks in the second half and they were still able to win that game.
I think they're the best team in the NFC. And I think they'll be in that NFC Championship game and possibly the Super Bowl, and playing at home is going to help them.
Do you think any of these wild cards can go into Chicago and beat the Bears?
Oh, I think the Bears can be had. I definitely think the Bears can be had. I think the Bears have a solid defense, but Jay Cutler is an enigma. You don't know which one's going to show up. You never know how many picks he's going to throw. I think he cares. I definitely think he cares because, look, if he leads the Bears to the Super Bowl and wins the Super Bowl, he'll reach Jim McMahon status. Not as legendary with the shades and the headbands and the roselle and all the fun stuff that he used to do, but he will be the only other Bears quarterback in history to lead his team to a Super Bowl and win.
Let's not underestimate Devin Hester, too. The guy's a playmaker. And we saw when they went to the Super Bowl, first play of the game, he ran a touchdown all the way back. So that kid's a playmaker in at any time.
Falcons or Bears, any problems for those two?
I think the Falcons are the team to beat in the NFC. The road goes through the Georgia Dome. Matt Ryan doesn't lose to the Georgia Dome. The same team. Let's forget about the same team. He's still 23 or 24-2. He doesn't lose at home. The Falcons don't make mistakes. They don't commit penalties. They don't make foolish turnovers. The Bears' offense is it's too Jekyll and Hyde to me.
All right, we'll come back next week to Hurley's and set you up with the divisional round playoff games and matchups, who's playing who, after the wild card games this weekend. Go to ScottBeatsAman.com for all my picks for the playoffs this weekend and every week throughout the NFL playoffs and all the way to the Super Bowl in Dallas in February. from Hurley's in Times Square. It's Pain Day and the crew. You know where to find us on the radio on Howard 101. I'll see you freaks next time from the Theater District right here on 48th and Broadway in New York City. I'll see you freaks. Razan, Mafia, Mysterio, Mad Hatter. We're out from New York. We'll see you freaks on the radio and next week on Pain Day. Shake it. Ooh.